What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Wingers and Defenders. Today we'll be doing another week of football debate, just discussing the Premier League season and recapping it since the season is now over after yesterday's fixtures. Definitely a crazy championship Sunday. Not as crazy as we've had in the past, but definitely some crazy things going on. Definitely at the bottom of the table, we had Aston Villa stay up. Bournemouth were very good yesterday, won, I believe, 3-1 at Everton, but because Aston Villa were able to get a point at West Ham, they were unfortunately relegated to the championship. But we'll just kind of discuss not only our three teams, but also just everything we felt about the season with the pandemic that stopped it for about 3 months and everything that just went on with it overall. So we'll just get right into it. Joe, how did you feel about the season?
So this year, my first full season as a fan of football and Premier League especially. I mean, I started 2018, 2019, but I mean, I missed the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think. So I really enjoyed it. A lot of ups and downs for the season. I thought just overall it was a very interesting season, other than like the title race, as there really wasn't a title race. Top four was very interesting throughout the year. We saw Leicester was really fighting. They had a chance at the title for in November, December. Then they're just top five. They finished fifth. Relegation battle was probably the most interesting it has been, and I know it was more interesting than last year, probably in a few years. I mean, went back down to the last day, and three teams had a chance of not getting relegated with two spots. So that was pretty interesting to see what would happen there. And then my team, Spurs, I mean, it was unfortunate with the way Potts left and everything, but I mean, we have a lot to look forward to. The way the season ended, unfortunate result against Palace, but we still got a European spot. So I have a lot to look forward to. So I thought the season overall was really good, and I'm just excited for us to start up again on September 12th.
Jake?
Yeah, I think Arsenal, looking at it from Arsenal's perspective, been an up and down season, obviously. As I said on the show before, we started the season under Emery, and he started off very poorly. And, we were looking like we were not going to be relegation battle, but we were bottom half of the table. I think at some point, 13th, 14th, pretty poor, needed a change. We had Freddie Youngberg for a couple of games, and then we brought in, obviously, Michael Arteta, who has given us a sense of direction. And Arsenal finished in 8th, I believe, which was one of our worst finishes in the last, I don't know how long, since the 90s. So we were pretty poor this year, but I think we ended a lot better than we thought we were going to. I think Arteta has us playing good football. We have a system we're actually going to play in, a direction that we want to use that we're going to play in next season. And, I think about the transfer window. We're in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. If we win that, we get Europe, which is good for finances, players coming in. So that could be big for us. But this season was a poor one from Arsenal. I can't really sugarcoat it, but happy with the way we ended. But as a league in general, a couple surprises. Sheffield United finishing on the same amount of, or 2 points behind us. Would never expect that when I saw Sheffield United coming up. Would never expect them to finish 9th in the Premier League. Teams like Villa staying up, a team I thought was going to go right back down, fought our relegation really well, ended up getting good results at the end of the season and staying up. And, obviously at the top, there wasn't a competition really. City and Leicester were chasing Liverpool all year, and eventually Liverpool just pulled away and City just started losing games, 9 losses. It wasn't even close. They ended up losing the league by 18 points, 18-point gap. And Leicester, one of the biggest stories of the year, absolutely being dreadful after January, just being a dreadful club, could not string together results. Injury problems with their right back, Ricardo Pereira, who was one of the best right backs in the league. James Maddison, their number 10, number 8 in the middle, pulling strings. And, Vardy was kind of trying to drag his team across the line, and they couldn't do it. Ultimately, dropped too many points, and United caught up. And Chelsea get those last 2 Champions League spots. But, yeah, Liverpool winning the title. Honestly, I think this season was interesting, but kind of not that exciting at times. A lot of big games, a lot of great players. But as far as the title race that you usually have every year in the Premier League, like with 3, 4, 5 teams contending, there's only a 1-2 team race. And for the most part, it's only a 1-team race. So it felt like it was kind of like a La Liga or, a Serie A kind of league this year, with one team dominating and the rest trying to catch up, get those European spots. But it was Liverpool clear all the way through.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're talking about, for me specifically, I think we started off beating Norwich, I think 4-1, and then that just kind of started it. But yeah, like you said, I think for it to be an even better season, we had to have had a title race, and we didn't really have that. Last season, we had it, obviously, with it being down to the last game, but I think for a period of time, even Chelsea was in it, the mix with Hazard playing well last year. But yeah, for this year, like Joe said, Leicester were in second. Like, I don't think anybody really remembers that at the time when City were blowing games in probably October, November, Leicester City were in second place. And now that looks crazy now that they finished fifth and somehow even got off the line and were, yes, bottled. They were in third going into the restart and end up in fifth and really deserved to finish fifth, honestly. They didn't play well enough in the last 8 games to deserve a top 4 finish. And if they were to get in the Champions League next season, I don't know if they could get out of a group unless they bought players and kept their players healthy. But yeah, like Joe said, I think Leicester, it's unfortunate that they didn't get where they wanted to because they were pretty good going through the first couple months of the season. They were getting goals from Vardy. They were getting service from Madison. And Harvey Barnes was playing well. They obviously had their 9-0 drubbing of Southampton in, I think, October. So there were definitely some good positive signs from them. But, yeah, for Liverpool, I mean, I can't tell you I said we were going to win the league. I never would have wanted to say 100% until it happened because of what happened a couple years back with Gerrard slipping and Demba going in and scoring. So I wasn't willing to say we were definitely going to win the league until it actually happened. But, yeah, you're looking at a team like City that Wolves did the double against them. And no disrespect to Wolves, but Adama Traore buried them in both games at home and away. And those were the type of results that City just told us they weren't going to be able to do it. Laporte got injured against Brighton early in the season. That was going to be a big blow. We knew that. And Eric Garcia didn't come into the fold till the new year. And even with that, it still wouldn't have made the difference. But then there's various different games, like Jake said. There were big games still. There was Manchester United and Manchester City is always big. And especially with the added issues of racism against Fred, specifically in the game at Man City, there is always big games like that. Spurs and Arsenal is always a big game. There's always big games. And I think that's what keeps a league like this interesting versus a league like the Serie A or La Liga that really are never really interesting except for a couple teams always winning the league. This league for the Premier League, there's no denying it. Leicester City winning the league a couple years back is something that I don't know has ever happened in a league like the Serie A, the Bundesliga. None of those leagues really have had a one-off league title from a team that never is expected to win the league. We're talking about a team that previous year that I think was in the relegation battle and staved off relegation and then ended up winning the league the following year. That doesn't happen in any other league, which is a credit to the Premier League, which hopefully next season we expect 4 teams to be in it possibly with Chelsea and Manchester United restocking in the market. Hopefully that's a 4-team race next year. I'm hoping for that, just even for Liverpool, because yeah, it's great and all to win the league, and I will continue to say that forever because it's the first time they've won a title in 30 years. But it's more exciting to have something like last year. So I'm expecting and hoping we get something more interesting next year. But, Joe, what are we thinking about Spurs going into next season?
Into next season, call me crazy, but the way we were ending the season, the way other teams were playing, we have a shot at being a title contender. I'm not going to say we're going to win the title because I think that's probably not going to happen. I think it's going to be City. But I think it's not a stretch to say we could be a title contender. I mean, if you look at the way after restart, we were like the second best team in the league since restart. I mean, I think we'll definitely – I think we're going to win a title next year if we all stay healthy. Harry Kane looked like his 2017 form. He looked unstoppable since coming back. The defense, if we could just get some transfers, I think there's a lot to be positive about. And then with Europa League, I think Europa League is going to be key because I think we could finally get to play out our youth. I think Europa League's key for playing youth players and developing them. That's one way soccer got so well. He was able to use his time in the Europa League to really perform well, and credit to Arsenal and them that they were able to develop some of the young players through that. We saw when Man United was in the Europa League, we saw Greenwood get some playing time. You know, like this is what we could do to get forward, and I think with Mourinho ball and the way we've been playing, it's not a stretch to say we'd be title contenders next year.
Jake.
Define title contender.
We could be in the top four, top three race, and I think it's going to be a lot closer next year. I don't think there's going to be as much transferring, so I think that it's probably going to be between the first and fourth spot, maybe a 10, 12-point difference.
So we're Leicester a title contender this year?
Well, no, because they finished fifth, and they also got blown out by how many points?
Top four race, which is what you just defined Spurs.
But I said it was going to be a 10 to 12-point difference between first and fourth. How many points was between Leicester and Liverpool at the end of the year?
I think you're a top 5 team next year at best. At absolute best, you're fifth.
You're just ignoring how well we've played, though. You're ignoring how well we've played.
Yeah, but also you're not including a possible Sancho deal, possible Havertz deal, already Ziyech deal, and a Werner deal. Chelsea more money than you. Boards that are willing to spend money. The main thing that's with Spurs is you can't spend money because of Levy and Enoch. That's the reason I'm giving you fifth. If you spent money, maybe I'm giving you fourth, third, whatever. But you're not a contender if you're not spending money like that. I'm sorry.
We're getting Højbjerg. We're going to fill out our DM. Go 4-3-3. You got your 4-3-3.
That's not Werner.
What?
That's not Havertz.
Yeah, they're going to flop. Flops. Just wait. Dyer's going to shut them down.
Like Tanguy and Ndombele?
The fridge is going to shut them down.
Like Tanguy and Ndombele.
Stop.
Oh, he's going to be good next year. He's going to be healthy.
Oh, he's going to be good next year?
Yeah, he's going to actually play.
He's actually going to play next year.
Yes. Once we get that DM role. That's the rumors around from tier 1 sources that Mourinho just wants to have a DM for him.
Okay. But he has to actually be able to run and play a full game, right?
He can.
He can?
Yeah, he can.
He hasn't shown it to me because it's just wasted potential so far.
Hey, trust.
Absolute wasted potential this season.
Trust.
Yeah, he got brought in by the former manager, so
Mourinho. Moussa Dembele sucked his first year with the Spurs. Look where he became. One of the best center mids in the league.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay. Well, my argument to Spurs being a top 5 team next season would be Wolves, or a team similarly to Wolves that has a better manager. Let's face it. We're talking about Jose Mourinho, whatever you want to call him.
The GOAT.
I'm not sure if
He is past his best, and me and Jake have said it all. I don't want to know. No, don't make that face, because let's talk about it. Nuno is better right now, and he's getting a team that came up for last season, did really well, got into Europa League, still are in Europa League, could still win the Europa League, and still they finished, I don't know what place in this year, but look at a guy that has put Adama Traore on the map. Let's face it, because he was bought from Middlesbrough and for about 20-something mil, and was a former Barcelona player, and now is one of the most dangerous wingers in the league. Team of the season worthy. And now we're talking about a team that if they can get into the market and buy some better players, and for example, Patrick Cutrone, who is back in Serie A, was bought in the summer, was supposed to be something, was not able to do anything in the Premier League, was then loaned out in January, or bought, I do not remember. But if they can get some players back in, I trust Nuno to do something more than I trust Mourinho to do stuff with Kane and the likes. Yes, Spurs have a very good team. Spurs have a top 4 team talent-wise. I don't trust Mourinho over a full season to get them to where they want to go.
Here's what you're missing, though. Mourinho didn't lose to Arsenal, and Nuno did. And that means that Nuno's team is worse because Arsenal's not a serious club. They're banter, they're not a serious club. So if you lose to Arsenal, I just can't take you seriously.
That is a terrible
Losing to
point.
Arsenal, I can't take you seriously.
That is a terrible point. Again, we're bringing back to we have to banter Arsenal to feel better about ourselves. Again.
So
Once
yeah,
again, there are two.
You guys have been Trash since the restart. Trash.
Us?
And hold on. If you're going to say you don't respect teams that lose to Arsenal, then are you not respecting the champions? Because we lost to the
Correct. You won the league. Congrats. But
so
then,
then
what
who
have
do
you
you
done?
respect in the
What have you
league?
done since? What have you done since?
Who are you respecting in the league then?
This-
You respect nobody?
United.
Oh my
United?
gosh. Oh
So
my
they did the
gosh.
double against did they do the double against
You're
Arsenal?
having a shocker. You're having a shocker today.
Joe.
I don't know.
please.
All I'm saying since restart, if you lost to Arsenal,
What does that mean? What does that have to do with next season? At
We'll
all?
do it next season.
Everyone has a
This
whole
is what we're
different
looking
team.
forward to next season. This is what we're
So,
looking
but
forward to.
how does
This
how does-
restart is like a preseason to next season.
No,
It's
it
like
isn't. No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
You have a bunch of new players coming in the next few
Correct.
months.
But
So it's completely different.
there's not really an off season. So this is kind of like the warm up to next season. It's basically two separate seasons, basically. Post restart.
Two separate seasons, yes. No preseason. This is not next season.
No. The post COVID
You
is
said
like
it was two
a
seasons.
different season to pre-COVID. Totally different.
For some
Yes, I agree with that.
but not for
You can say
everybody.
that, I guess. But this isn't a preseason.
Stop.
Chelsea have a whole different
Basically
complexion.
a preseason for the 2021 season.
No, Chelsea's coming in with a whole.
Foreshadowing.
How? You don't know that.
Yes, I do. Wait.
You could come in next season.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to this video like midway through, and we're gonna be like, "Oh, look, Liverpool. They're still a good team, but they're not. They aren't what they were last season."
You say that about every single team. You can't base your current form on how you're gonna be in 2 months. You can't. You
Yes,
can't.
I can.
Spurs can be number one going into next season, have won their first 6-7 games, or they could be trash, and you could be like, "Oh well, I don't know what happened," because it's a different season, different players. You play Chelsea, get battered, lose your confidence.
We're still
drop
using
points.
the basis of what we have now. We have an idea. We have an idea what teams are gonna look like next year.
You literally can't do that
Because you don't know how many players you're
you
going to
were
come.
literally almost Jose out a month and a half ago, and now you're not. So what can happen in a month and a half? Anything.
Yes, anything can happen. Correct.
You just went against your idea. You just went against what you just said.
You could definitely make the argument that teams that weren't doing
You're
well
not making an
post-COVID
argument.
are not going to do well again.
Yeah, and it could be the opposite.
It can, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go off what we're seeing now is basically foreshadowing. This is my theory.
Okay, hold on. But if you're going to say that, and then, for example, last season and 2 seasons ago, Fulham brought in about 10 players. So you can't foreshadow what they were doing a month and a half before the season. And you can't do it for what Aston Villa did this year because they brought in the same amount of players and just got in to stay for the next season.
Well, I thought Villa was going to stay up.
Okay, but the point is that if you say that now to September 12th, you can't say that's going to be a complete foreshadow of what's going to happen because Spurs could bring – unlikely, but Spurs could bring in a bunch of players.
Yeah, but you're missing the point of this. With COVID, you're not going to have as much time to train with there's going to be different training periods and stuff like that. You're not going to have a full preseason to train with your squad and get to know people and get to know how the other teams play.
Okay.
There's Champions League that's still going on. You have Champions League going right into Premier League. Teams that make it far in the Champions League might not have the full length to go like we saw with the World Cup with Spurs in 2018. Spurs had a World Cup, a lot of players on that World Cup team. They started to die like just fatigue of so much playing around that January, February mark.
Okay, so
same thing happened.
one of the critiques that people have against Spurs fans said they needed DM, a defensive midfielder.
Correct.
If you get Højbjerg, a defensive midfielder, does that change your team for the better or the worse?
Depends on how we play him. We might try to ease him in and go with the Winks Sissoko pivot, like we've been doing so far, and it's worked very well.
So I understand you predicting, or you say this could be a foreshadowing how you could play next year. But if Højbjerg comes in, I'm assuming he's going to get straight into the team because Jose wants to play defensive midfielder anyways. That changes the complexion of your entire team. So you could perform really well based off of that, but you have no clue because you don't know if he's coming in, how he's going to fit into the team or not.
I don't think he's going to force him into the team. I think he's going to be
Then
slow and steady.
I don't know why you need to ease him into the team if he's already an experienced Premier League player that plays defensive midfield.
Because you need to
He's not
work
young.
time in the squad. You need to give him. You need to what you got to do is you got to
If
go
he's
like
quality,
60
you can just get
minutes.
in.
You got to go 60 minutes with the Sissoko Winks pivot, right? 60 minutes that. Then you bring on Højbjerg and Ndombele to finish the game off, ease them in, get them playing together. So then by November, December, you could go play that lineup full 90 minutes.
Yeah, but November, December, you're already going to be down 15 points to United and City.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that? All right. Well,
Because Sissoko Wings isn't giving you top 3. That's proven.
It's giving us top 4 since restart.
Since restart. So a
Yes.
month.
That's a
1 month.
small
That's
sample
1 month
size.
of play. That's 1 month of play.
That's 8 games or
And
whatever.
you just talked about
Only
you said-
3
you
points
said
back. 3
you
points
just
back.
October, November. That's 3 months into the season.
Stop it, Joe.
You know
So-
it's true.
No, but
No,
I'm trying to look
The Sissoko Wings pivot has been very good for us.
in a month. Yes.
No, forever.
Post-COVID.
Since
Not forever,
since
no.
broken into the first team and just started playing well since 18, it's been very well for us.
So why do you need a DM then? Why do you need a defensive midfielder then if you're so good?
Because why would we waste
You're
a
not good
60
enough.
million pound? Because we can't play Tanguy and Nobile there, and not a DM.
So he's a waste. Okay.
So, and Nobile needs to play with a DM.
Okay.
That's
So you need Højbjerg to play immediately because he's your
we
most.
don't have to play Nobile immediately. We've seen what we're doing without Nobile.
Oh,
So there's a lot of
stop
question
it.
marks. So there's a lot of question marks around Spurs. So my question is, with those question marks, you can predict how they're going to play. You won't know.
What
if
are
they're
the question marks? I'm telling you what's going to happen. There's no question marks.
No, because you said they should
wait a
ease him
minute,
in.
no.
They shouldn't ease him in.
Wrong,
Because
Joe.
He's an experienced DM that plays defensive midfielder. He plays
He's
that
not
position.
going to get in right away.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm telling you what's going to happen.
All right. I mean, that sounds like a 5th place team.
Okay.
If you want to compete with those guys, Ziyech is starting. Werner is starting. Sancho is starting. Havertz is probably starting.
Okay.
You're not getting eaten.
I don't trust Chelsea's defense. I'm sorry. I don't trust Chelsea's
That's fine. That's fine. I'm talking about the attack and the midfield. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking
And
Your
we'll put
defense
5
is worse
past them.
than theirs. Your defense is worse than theirs, so I'm not even going to get into that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
We've allowed like 5 goals since restart. That's it. We've had multiple clean sheets. We've had the best keeper in the league. I don't know.
Yeah, this is off of, again, this is a sample size, 1 month. Then we're going to have a break. You have Europa League, I believe. And then we'll go next season with, hopefully, you'll have more players.
Wait, don't you have European qualification too?
I think we're just straight in there. I think.
I don't think so. I think they have to go through qualification.
That means more time for Højbjerg to get adjusted. Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should just get straight into the team because then
Let's move to Arsenal.
Okay.
All right. What do you think for next year?
I won't have a bold statement to make like we're going to be a title contender with
We are.
no backing from it. We're going to be better than 8th next season, but we're not going to be top 4. I'm expecting 5th, 6th, at worst 7th, because I don't think we're good enough. I mean, depending on the signings we make, we're not going to be top 4 with the team we have. And if we make good signings, I think 6th is solid. I think 5th, we're going to be challenging with Tottenham, Wolves, 5th at best, 7th at worst. I think we're falling in those 3 spots, 5th, 6th, or 7th. We're not top 4 with our team. We're just not. We can beat Tottenham. We can play better than them. We can finish higher than them. We can finish higher than Leicester, depending on how well we, come out. Wolves, we can beat them, finish higher than them. Other than that, we're better than the rest of those teams below us. We're not better than Man U. We're not better than Chelsea. We're not better than City or Liverpool. And we're maybe better than Leicester. That's why we're 5th, 6th. I don't really have much to say about that. I don't have we're not title contenders. We're not going to be worse than we are this year, I don't believe. Unless we move backwards, which would be, I don't understand how that would work. The signings we get will really help shape the team. We need a defensive midfielder. We need an attacking midfielder. And we need probably a competent center back and get rid of 2 or 3 of them. That's why I see it.
Do you think Kroenke's going to let you do all that?
No, he won't. I'm just saying that we'll probably get a defensive midfielder, and we'll probably get another attacking midfielder. That's it at best. And we're going to get 2 at best. And one's going to be like, we're linked with Thomas Partey. That's going to be like too much money, probably like 50 or 60. It's going to be too much. And then we're linked with Leon striker. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Alwar. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. He's an attacking midfielder, pretty young, quality. But, I mean, he's going to be like 40 mil too. So Kroenke's not going to let us spend 100 mil. So it's going to be one of the 2, or we're going to get like a younger guy that's going to be about 25, 30.
You're going to get Coutinho and then just call it quits. You're just going to get Coutinho.
We're also linked with Thiago Silva, which I'm not upset about. I think we need the Thiago Silva kind of player. Even though he's declining, we need him experience in the team.
Hey, that wouldn't be bad, though. Like, that's an influential player in your squad. Kind of like a David Luiz, but, like, competent.
I mean, David Luiz has been competent the last 3 weeks or so. He has given away most penalties in the season, which is poor. but he's been pretty decent other than that.
Not bad.
Yeah, so I think certainly for Arsenal, just quickly getting on that, I think some of the you just got to get some of the dead weight out there. I think some of the defenders, Socrates, even like Mustafi, it's the problem is defensively, I think.
Yeah.
And specifically for Arsenal, I think it's depending on what you're willing to spend, and that goes same for Spurs because Daniel Levy doesn't like to spend and doesn't have the money to spend either. And just this, for example, I'll just quickly go back to Spurs. If Spurs don't sign a backup striker to in case Kane gets hurt, that's a problem because we saw it be an issue early. And they're linked to Milik from Napoli, who I like and has his own injury issues, but he's very good as well. But that's the same thing. I think for even like Liverpool, because Liverpool don't want to spend money because we're seeing Spurs and Arsenal and even Liverpool, but Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City, all those teams are spending money, which we had our talk about City and why we hate that. They didn't get what they deserve for money-wise, but the point is Liverpool aren't willing to spend money. They didn't get Timo Werner when they should have. And if they don't want to spend the money they could be spending, that's an issue, which I'll move on quickly to Liverpool. And I won't go out and say we're a foregone conclusion. We're going to win the title or we are obviously the title contender. Whether we're the title favorite, I'm not sure. But until I see Manchester City buy a center back to pair up with Laporte, I'm not convinced over a 30-game season they can be consistently winning games because last season we saw Laporte and company work. And last season their attack was more lethal than it was this season, even though they scored probably similar amount of goals per game. But we saw company be a solidified, competent center back when they didn't have that this year with Laporte, even injured, and that was the big problem. We should expect Laporte to hopefully stay, for his sake, play 38 games this upcoming season, but we don't know. But, yeah, like I said, until I see Manchester City buy another center back, I'm not convinced they aren't my title favorites until I see that. So, as of right now, I would say that Liverpool are the title favorites. Now, there's no denying that. Okay, well, whatever Joe's got to say. But
overall, I don't know if I trust. I don't know if I'm not high on Liverpool, man. I'm sorry. I think this was the peak. I think this was the peak.
Let me continue since he's gonna come up with this
some
ridiculousness.
Fifth place.
Okay, so if there are problems with Liverpool need to add depth. That's where it is. Their starting 11 is probably the best in the league. Manchester City have a very, very good team, yes. But I think even Manchester United, Chelsea, whatever you want to say. But there's some issues in the team. They just let Dejan Lovren go. That's a center back. They need to replace him. Yes, Dejan Lovren's a mistake waiting to happen in the back. But the point is it's a body that we can still have for depth when we need somebody in case somebody gets injured. So we need a center back probably. We definitely need another striker, I think. Divock Origi, at his best, is a very clutch scorer of the ball. He's shown it over and over again. He scored against Everton last year with the fluke goal, scored in the Champions League final, scored twice in the Champions League semifinal against Barcelona to get us into the final. So, yes, he scores great. He scores goals when we need it the most. And it hasn't happened as much this year, and he hasn't gotten the same amount of opportunities, but we do need somebody to back up Firmino in case he gets hurt, or somebody that can also play on the left or the right, which Origi can. But the fact is we do need depth, and we've been linked to Coutinho possibly coming back. I'm not so sure if I like that. We've been linked to Thiago from Bayern, who offers something a little different in the center midfield. But for me, specifically that one, I don't know if that makes sense at 29 years old. We have a lot of midfielders anyway. And I think Naby Keita, at his best, is probably the most talented midfielder in our – when healthy, he's probably the best midfielder in our midfield. Henderson's a workhorse, so is Wijnaldum. Fabinho's a pretty good center defensive midfielder, in my opinion, and has scored a lot of great goals, so he offers something attacking-wise. But when you're talking about Naby Keita, we haven't really seen a lot from him. But when we do see great moments from him, for example, he scored a fantastic goal against Chelsea when we were pressing, and Kepa had no chance, even though he's a mess, certainly, and probably the worst goalie so far in the Premier League since he's come. But still, it was a great goal. And I think if we see more of that, he can be a consistent week in, week out starter for us. Did it at Leipzig. I think he's going to be able to do that if he can stay healthy. So that's the thing. But it goes the same thing for all three of our clubs, I think. It goes depending on spending money and possibly getting some dead weight out of there. Not as much at Liverpool, which Lovren, I guess, is somewhat dead weight, while Mana's leaving on a free. So I think for all three of our clubs, it's going to come down to who's willing to spend the most, which obviously I think Arsenal has the most money to spend. I'm not sure. I know with the stadium that Spurs have just done, it's probably unlikely that they can do much. And Liverpool, for some reason, are not willing or are not able to buy anything for a significant amount of money. But we'll see what happens in whatever until September 14th, which I think the window doesn't close till the end of September, possibly. Not sure, but yeah, I think those are the big things for us. So Joe, we'll just quickly go through. Joe, your prediction for Spurs as of right now is what next season?
Top 4 and title contenders. I don't know the placement yet. That depends more on transfer window and everything. I think once we get transfer settled, I could give you more condensed top 4 and everything like that. But I think we'll be top 4 and possibly title contenders.
Jake, Arsenal?
Top 6, possible Champions League contender, thinking Europa League.
And then for Liverpool, as of right now, I'm not saying going into the season, which Joe's going to make a weird face right now, I have Liverpool returning as the champion as of right now. We have 2.5 minutes. Joe, you can quickly explain to me why Liverpool's in a bad spot.
I just think you guys have peaked. I think you've won the Champions League with the squad. You've won the Premier League with this squad. I think it's going to kind of come down to tactics getting old. There's not really anything else looking forward to in a way. Kind of like what happened with Pep this year. Like we went to Centurions. They won the league again after that. What else do we have to prove in this league? I think you're going to have something similar to that, and you'll still be a very good team. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't think – I think it's going to be someone else. I think it might be like a Chelsea, a Tottenham, a United, maybe even a City, depending on who they buy winning the league this year. You guys are a great team, but you saw – I mean, after they won the league, and even when they came back from the restart, they just didn't look as dominant in Liverpool. That's just my take on it. I think you guys need a serious reinvestment in the squad as soon as possible, just so you can get – because there's going to be players becoming deadwood very soon for you guys. Happened to us. Going to happen to you guys very soon. So that's just my take on it. Once again, I'm ahead of the curve on a lot of stuff. Just trust.
I'm not trusting. Okay, so then if you're going to say we have dead weight, then what are you saying about Chelsea's defense? Because I clearly can tell you by now, Chelsea have – I would almost take – actually, I will come out and say this. I'll take everybody at Liverpool, and they would start for Chelsea in their defense, straight up.
Yes, that's obvious, yes.
And it's arguably it's less.
I didn't say defense. I said they have dead wood.
Where?
Very dead wood.
Where do we have dead wood?
You're gonna have dead wood very, very soon.
Who?
What's very soon and who?
Fabinho very soon.
Oh my!
Okay.
He's like, no.
All right. Continue.
Very soon.
Keep
Firmino.
going. Okay. What else you gotta say?
Firmino.
Okay, you can't just say that and it's not explained.
Not based on.
I don't have time to explain it.
Not based on his role, but okay.
That's it. 2 players.
I have a very hot take. I think I'm going to leave it till right before this video ends.
Nah, because if we have to make
Wijnaldum and Salah.
We have to make a new call. Make a new call. We have to continue this. Please.
All right, so we're going to continue our debate on what on earth Joe has just spoken into existence. So, Joe, can you briefly go through the players that you think are going to soon become deadwood at Liverpool?
Yes, I can. Okay. Fabinho.
Wait, if you're going to say that, I would like an explanation for why you believe that.
Great player. I think he's a bit overrated. So I think we're going to see kind of him a little bit. Let's see who else here. Wijnaldum. I think he's getting up there in age. Give him 2-3 more years.
What?
You're gonna have to sell him soon.
Wait.
Or he's gonna be kind of deadwood.
Wait, but Fabinho's 3 years younger than Wijnaldum.
Yes, but I think Wijnaldum's better.
Than who?
Fabinho.
Debatable,
Okay.
I guess.
Fine. Keep going.
I don't know. I think Fabinho's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. Some
Walks into your team. Walks.
Yeah, probably. We don't have a D. We don't have a D.
Why are you
He can
saying
play
he's dead
central
wood?
central midfield, and he's going to walk into your team next season too, and the year after that.
I get opinion. I just have a feeling something's gonna happen with him. Just a feeling. Just
All
a
right,
feeling.
so feeling. That's what we're gonna go.
Yeah.
We're going from Joe. All right.
Yeah. I had a feeling Arsenal was gonna beat Man City.
Yeah,
I was right.
One-off game. You were right about it. I'm happy you're right about it. It's a one-off game, not an entire.
Milner, he's kind of already dead with
Okay,
the.
that's fine, but he's not
Okay.
even. He's a
So-
squad player, so.
So
Okay.
Firmino.
I think that's intriguing, but his role in the team doesn't really allow him to really fall off like that because he's a false nine in a sense. All he has to do is create. I don't think he's gonna fall off in creation.
Then my two hot takes, which they're not gonna fall off. They're just not gonna be as good. They're gonna be still very good players. They're just not gonna be like. You know what I'm gonna say. They're not gonna be like the top two in their position that they are right now. I think they're gonna be top five, which is still very good. I just don't think unless you get
And
a
it's not
striker.
dead wood.
What?
Then that wouldn't classify as dead wood if they're
Dead
top
wood for
five.
the team right now.
Okay, go ahead. Who are they?
Dreadful.
Like they're not going to be as good, which is going to have the team fall off in a few years and be Champions League contenders only, maybe Europa League contenders.
Okay, so
Not title contenders.
Go.
Salah and Mane. I think
Yeah,
great
we-
players.
Oh my-
we knew.
Getting up there in age. They're 28. So I think you get maybe 2 or 3 more good years with them, right? Then after that, you're going to see tactics from Klopp are going to get dry. You're going to see Firmino really not I don't rate – he's going to fall off a little bit as well. Your top three is going to decline a little bit. With that, you're going to kind of be in a rut unless you don't get players to replace them at that point. You're going to have to – you can't just keep playing them every single game. They're going to run – they're going to get – the leg's going to turn into like – it's not going to work.
Okay.
Christian, go.
Okay,
I'll
hold
finish
on.
this. Go.
Let me just ask you this: where on earth do you rank Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah as wingers in the world?
In the world, I gotta think. They're very, very good. I think Sadio is the best in the Prem.
So you think in 2 years he's going to go from the best in the Prem to what?
Top five, like
so
4 or 5.
So then, if you're going to say that, then give me who's going to go ahead of him.
Sancho.
Okay.
Do not say I think you're gonna say
If he says Heung-min Son,
because that guy. No. I'm like,
Bergwijn.
oh, okay, keep going. He's laughing. He knows he's wrong. So keep going. Give me 3 more.
knows. He literally knows. He's sweating.
It's hot in my room. We don't use AC here.
Okay.
No, let's go. Come on. I need 2 more. Who?
If we're gonna classify Foden as a winger, if we're gonna classify him as a winger, like we were saying the other day with David,
You think he's gonna be better than Sadio Mane in like 2 years?
2-3 years, yes.
Okay. And 1 more. You need to give me 1 more then at least.
Pulisic.
It's a smart pick.
Oh wait, I'm gonna take off Bergwijn. I'm gonna put Rashford.
Oh, so now he doesn't trust his guy.
Yeah,
Correct.
because he started sweating after that.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. So we're talking about Sadio
3
Mane
years.
and just forget Sadio. Mohamed Salah. We're talking about
3
two
years.
dudes that are 28, 29 years old, 27 years old, whatever they are. I can give you the number. But the point is, in 2 to 3 years, you think they're going to be deadwood at a club that are title contenders, hopefully for the next couple of
Champions
years.
League contenders.
Correct.
too.
I still think they're gonna be very good players. But by deadwood, I mean that they're gonna kind of get old with the tactics and stuff. I think they're gonna kind of grow old at Liverpool, and they're gonna need to sell them.
Okay, so you shouldn't have used the word Deadwood then, because Deadwood means like Mustafi. Deadwood means Socrates.
I think it's gonna be time for Liverpool to move on from those players. They're not gonna be getting the maximum that they can out of those players due to tactics and stuff, and just being at the club for so long. Like it happened with Tottenham.
You're
It's
talking
going to
about a
happen
team
with
that won
Tottenham.
the title,
But-
has won trophies for the last 18 months, and
It doesn't
team that
matter.
hasn't won anything.
You're correct. They won trophies. But now, what are they looking for?
Who? Liverpool?
They're more,
So Spurs.
but they've accomplished basically everything they needed to accomplish.
No, it's
to
about
marry
retaining it now.
It's like we broke the curse of not winning a title. We won Champions League again. Like, it's just going to get dry. It's like, what else are we looking forward to here? We've accomplished everything we need to accomplish here.
Okay, but for example, you're looking at if you want to talk about teams that dry out off tactics, then look at Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson, because they did it for 20-something years and won titles over and over again.
Do not compare Klopp to Alex Ferguson. Do not compare
Klopp
Klopp to Sir Alex Ferguson.
I'm not comparing it because you're going off a couple of years. You're going off Klopp for 5 years versus Sir Alex Ferguson for 2 decades at least.
But he was bringing in new players all the time.
Okay, so you're telling me there is no chance that anything like what happened at Manchester United can happen at Liverpool? No chance. It
can, but you got to start. You got to start replacing these players in time. I'm saying you contenders, but you can't still have Salah, Mane playing 34 to 38. There are 38 straight games for 90 minutes.
So that tells you that they are going to run out of gas in 2 years.
Correct. With these tactics, if they don't have anyone there to take time off from them.
Okay, so
and
if
kind
you
of switch
just
them around
that, so let me know who's backing up those players at the moment. Can you tell me who's backing them up?
Minamino.
Okay, what do you think about Minamino?
Minamino, isn't he like 18 years old?
Nope, he's not.
He's not.
19?
Oh,
how old is he? I generally don't know.
In his mid-20s, I believe, or earlier. I'll give you the number right now.
Takumi Minamino is 25.
He's 25 years old. So
okay. All right, I'm not going to say he's not going to get to the level of Salah or Mane. I'm going to put that out there right now. He's not going to be a world-class player.
And how can you say – so what proves that?
What proves that?
What evidence tells you that's going to happen? He won't get there.
That he's not going to be that?
Mm-hmm. At Liverpool, what tells you that he can't do that?
From the games he's played in so far, he hasn't looked too great. Okay. He hasn't played in much. But I think at the age he's at too, I think we haven't. I didn't watch him in Germany, to be fair enough. But I just don't think he has potential to be top 3 in the world. I don't think he has that potential, and arguably top 1 on form like Salah was in 2017.
Okay, so who else besides him?
I don't know who else backs up Mane.
So you just basically just gonna say you have to rebuy that whole attack midfield, essentially.
You have to buy players exactly at good. You could still be a title contender with players who aren't that good.
So I think the thing I have problem is you use the word dead wood, so that's not what you mean. Dead wood isn't the right word. Because when you say dead wood, that means they're Mustafi, Socrates level players.
I guess
Dejan Lovren level players. That's what it sounded like. I
just think you're gonna have to change them up for tactically, or else you're just the tactics are gonna get stale and you're not gonna get results. I think it's gonna be similar to a Pochettino situation.
Oh yeah, so I think that you can say about almost every single team in the Prem.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for probably Manchester United.
Resurgence of Tottenham right now. I think you got a new manager.
You're Deadwood. You're gonna be Deadwood too.
We got a new manager in, new tactics.
Washed.
You get results. I think Klopp, now that he's accomplished a lot of the stuff they needed to accomplish at Liverpool, I think tactics are going to get old.
Spurs have the same. Okay, you go. You go, Christian. I'm going to wait.
If you're going to say, so for example, is Mourinho at his best at the moment? Can you let me know? Based on, I don't care about the results. So for example, let me just give you his last job. What on earth happened at Manchester United, and why is he supposedly
he lost the locker room.
So what tells you that he won't have that same problem at
because there's no indication that that's happening, and every player loves him other than Danny Rose.
Tenki and Dumbele, I don't think so.
We don't know if that's true.
That is intriguing though, because that happens with every team. Inter Milan happened, Real Madrid happens, all the big teams that they win trophies with and everyone loves them. The next season or two, everyone hates him. I don't know what happens.
And what happens before that? Do they win before that? Do they win something before that?
Spurs don't have a successful.
Yeah, but I'm just pointing out that.
Did he win something? Did he win something at Manchester United before he lost the locker room?
He won Europa League.
Okay. Did he win something at Inter Milan before he lost the locker room?
Yeah, Champions League.
Did he win something at Chelsea before he lost the locker room?
Yeah, Europa.
Okay, thank you.
What I'm saying, I'm not talking about your trophy. I'm talking about you saying indication that there's no.
What they needed to accomplish. They accomplished winning something.
You have yet to
brought in to win.
You have yet to do that.
And sometimes
he's doing it with the hardest team to do it with. It's gonna be harder than Inter. It's gonna be harder than Real Madrid. It's gonna be harder than everything. This will be his biggest feat with his dead tactics.
You know,
Yes.
we touched on
team cannot
this
be Bournemouth.
beforehand. We're not going to get back on this. We touched on this earlier in the video.
Yeah, it's a purple patch that you have. It's
you.
it's a good run of form in a 1 month period because a month and a half ago you wanted him out, and that's how football works. That's how it works. I could want Arteta out in 6 months, but right now I like him. And how it happens. Spurs are in the same boat as Liverpool.
We're winning. I think we're going to win 2 titles next season.
What?
Europa.
Oh, okay.
Europa, and I think we're going to win the FA Cup.
Okay, I have a question. So, Joe, when is the last time a major competition was won by a team that plays tactics that are so defensive like Mourinho?
I remember he said that. I remember he said that. I'm going to remember.
Write down, Jacob.
I'm going to remember he said that.
Can you let me know when's the last time a team that plays super, super defensive has won something like the Premier League, the UCL, even the Europa League?
Well, United in 17-18. I mean,
they were the best. They were the best team offensively that year too.
Leicester 15-16. They
were a defensive team in 15-16.
They played hoof it up ball. They played counter-attacking hoof it up ball.
Yeah, but that's different from I'm playing super defensive because Manchester United.
That's literally what we're playing. That's literally what we're playing. Apply pressure, go on counterattacks.
Okay, but you could say Manchester United is a counterattacking team right now.
So what's the difference? What's the difference then? We sit back, we pick our spots, and we go, and it works perfectly.
They have better. No, it doesn't work perfectly. It works perfectly for the last month. It's not going to work perfectly.
It worked well when we had when Mourinho first came in too. It worked well basically since his whole tenure here.
It's just poor from Joe.
Okay, so you can make the same argument you just made for Liverpool.
You're ignoring the
facts.
facts.
The same argument that you just made for Liverpool, you make for Spurs easily.
If they get rid of Klopp.
What?
Or they reinvest the squad.
Oh.
So you need to reinvest in Spurs majorly in the next 2 years then as well.
Yes, I've been saying this. Yes, we need to reinvest in Spurs majorly.
But it's not going to happen.
Because Kane's going to become deadwood unless he leaves.
Correct. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't trust Levy. Okay. I think we have a very, very short window where Mourinho as coach.
The window's gone.
You have 1 season. I'm telling you, you have 1 season.
The window is this small.
You have 1 season.
And I think we're going to.
I'm telling you that.
All right, I'm gonna cut this.
July 27th, 2020. Joe Camerota said, "Tottenham Hotspur."
Wait, what was the other one besides Europa League?
Europa League and FA Cup. FA
Cup or League Cup, depending on what we choose.
All right, we're gonna go back on this in a year, and we're gonna say that Joe is.
Imagine I'm right, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna just end this one last thing, Joe. So if you're saying that Liverpool's on their way on the downturn, then so who's gonna win the title next year then from you?
I think City. If they get their defense figured out, I think City.
So as of right now, Manchester City are winning the title.
What?
For you, Manchester City are going to win the 2020-2021 title.
It depends. Again, it all depends on who invests in their squad and what happens with their squad. Like if Liverpool reinvests in their squad completely and starts to ease new players in, I'm going to be wrong. They're going to continue to fight, contend for the title for a long, long time.
So if we go off of what we think Spurs are going to do, Spurs are probably going to be 6th place, 7th place next year, too.
Why would we be 6th place, 7th place next year?
Because that's where you finished. Other than you finished 2nd and 3rd recently.
But we have a full year of Mourinho tactics, which are working perfectly.
Not working perfectly. Do not say perfectly. The closest thing to perfectly is Klopp, the guy you're saying is going to fall off.
And we've almost beat him twice.
Almost beat him, and yet you finished 40 points behind him. Correct. You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Pochettino had us in an awful place to start the season.
Again, I respect your confidence, but you don't have the stats to back up the confidence. That's the problem. I respect it though.
3 points from first place since restart.
You have a lot of excuses because the injuries in Pochettino. That's it, basically.
Are injuries not a real excuse?
Those are excuses.
You can use the injuries.
That's excuses. That's excuses. I agree. I can't really say how good you are with those excuses. When you make those excuses, I can't say how good you are. I can't.
Just telling you, bro. If we're healthy, we're gonna be a force to reckon with.
5th place.
Okay,
that's 5th place. Better than Arsenal. Better than Arsenal, but 5th place.
All right, that's all for our long weekly football debate. We'll come out with some more predictions for next season, certainly, because Joe's got a lot of hot takes over there. But just stay tuned for more videos.
Takes.
Please like, subscribe, and just check us out for more videos in the future.